kid whose worst grade was probably the speech class. I toiled and strained my brain trying to come up with something original. Maybe something funny, I thought. But after 15 minutes of struggling to come up with something brilliant, all I had were a few terribly corny jokes. I realized how lame I was at comedy and gave up on a funny speech, at the same time scratching out comedian on my list of possible career options. Maybe I am funny. Then I considered a more traditional sentimental speech. I pictured a misty-eyed audience and immediately rejected the idea. Besides, I didn't want the janitor staff to mop up the puddles after our big tear fest. So after about 30 minutes with only bits and pieces that seemed to be lacking, I gave up for the moment. Within seconds, I shut my laptop and picked up an Xbox controller, soon to be playing Grand Theft Auto 4. I spent more than 4 hours beating hookers with baseball bats, committing suicide in creative ways, stealing cars from helpless elderly people, and terrorizing the general populace of a virtual universe. When I finally finished my rampage, I looked over at the clock and realized it was already past midnight. Now I had a new excuse. I was tired. I would try again tomorrow. The next day played out much the same. Throughout the day, I kept promising myself, in 5 minutes, I'm going to get started on my speech. Of course, I broke every promise, and eventually it got dark outside. That was when I realized I had a problem. Why could I not simply sit down and write a decent speech? It was as if there was a concrete wall between me and productivity. A wall that was 12 feet high and 4 feet thick, laced at the top with barbed wire. After thinking about it, I realized it was the wall of procrastination. A wall that I was unwittingly very familiar with. I suddenly became determined. I said to myself, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. I was immediately inspired somehow by this random Ronald Reagan quote. I picked up my laptop, deleted all the crap I had typed, and started typing more crap about all the problems and difficulties I was having with my speech. When I was done with my rant, I looked over the page and realized, hey, I have enough crap here for an entire speech.
Oh my God.
So I had about 14 hours to spare. I printed it out on this paper and decided to get some well-deserved sleep. And here I am now. That's how I managed to write an entire speech about my problem writing the speech. But on a more serious note, I'd like to thank all of the people who have made a big difference in my life and the lives of my fellow graduates, without whom we could not have been here today. I'd like to give a big thank you to all of those parents who were there from day one, slaving away at work to provide food, shelter, and love for us spoiled brats. I'd like to thank all the teachers who devoted their lives to helping us go from spoiled brats to free-thinking individuals. And I'd like to thank all of the friends with whom we have shared and will continue to share fond memories such as this one. In closing, I would like to wish the best to all of you in your future ventures. Now, if you'd excuse me, I've got some virtual